Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Sylvan. The last part, we continued on through Flora, getting a few more droplets in the process, and if you actually look at the map, we've actually gotten them all. So where do we go now? Well, here in the Flora, you might remember we actually now have a mermaid dive ability. If you go over and hit that, this cave opens. And this little light patch here, similar to Pokemon Gen 3, you can just dive back up and head into this cave for our next labyrinth. Welcome to Gall's Labyrinth, the last one in Flora. And this place's major gimmick is the fact you're actually going to be using the mouse a lot. See that little iron ball in there? You want to use the magnetism ability to push it or pull it, or rather, yeah, pull it entirely onto that switch. And then you just repeat ad nauseum. That's basically all this place has for you. Though this place does have some pretty damaging stuff in it. First off, it has that little robot ball swinger that I hate so much. It also has that little wall structure that are firing off electric balls that damage you. You want to avoid those as much as possible because they hurt. And now it's time for us to go Zelda Oracle of Ages and do a floor tile puzzle. Basically, you want to cover every single square without repeating stepping on one to open up the door. That's basically it. If you step on one and get it wrong, you want to go back over the switch to reset the entire thing. In terms of puzzles, it's actually a fairly simple labyrinth, but some of those floor puzzles might trip you up. Later versions of the floor puzzles as well in this area will actually have obstacles in your way that are trying to damage you, and the way you want to get around those is... I don't believe I do it until the final one, actually, but you want to use the bird's flight just to fly over everything. Not a fan of this musical track, though. Admittedly, it's one thing that I like about this game and don't like is that the labyrinths are all fairly simple and to the point. However, that also means the game's length suffers because of it. And this is fairly simple. Grab onto the magnetic ball, and then you just can fly across the spikes. I forget if you could do it with those spikes, but I know some spikes in this area you can just use some invincibility frames to get past. If you feel like risking it, that is. And here's the next floor puzzle. However, I want to walk across it instead because there's a pit over there. And that's a pit we can fall down. I'm just trying to see if the electric puzzles spawn, but they won't if they're off screen. We want to fall down here and get an orange. And with that, now I'm going to cut back to that previous floor puzzle. Admittedly, I do like puzzles like this because they actually encourage you to think a decent chunk. However, at the same time, if you're not good at visual puzzles like this, it might take you a while. I remember I wasn't that good at the ones in Oracle of Ages when I was a kid. The only reason I probably am good at them now is because I've memorized them. It's also weird, this dungeon introduces what is essentially a second version of this enemy type. Except these ones tend to stay still. There's no real difference aside from that, so I have to wonder why they did it in the first place. The world may never know. Also, one little detail I don't think I've gone over is that in the forms screen, you can actually see the droplets you've gathered circling around you. That's a good way to show it off, I guess. I probably would have had them somewhere on the pause screen, but yeah, I can see why they didn't do that as well, due to size things and such. Or cluttering, rather. Who the hell? Help me, Zets, please. Okay then, Green Lady. They actually, that's one thing I forget if the Japanese version did it or not, but that character does have a name, because that's Queen Rui. I don't know why they just don't outright say who it is, because there's not many characters in this game. In fact, I think if you look in the manual in Japan, you'd be able to tell that was Queen Rui. So, why not just have them have names over their speech bubbles? I guess maybe to some extent they didn't want to give every character a name, but that seems kind of lazy to me. And here's another one of these magnetic ball puzzles. These are actually a bit specific as to when you have to let go. As you saw, I was off the ball, but it's still attracting me to it. You gotta wait until you're right over the next ball in order to magnetize onto it. But it's not that bad overall. Fall down the left pit here, because the right pit over here, it gets you nowhere. Hey there, Rui. I've been waiting, Zets. Waiting for you to bring the seed and the droplets. And so brazenly. What? Oh, spider person. This is normal. Walk right in here. You've gathered the droplets so diligently, I haven't had to lift a finger. One yet remains, but I'll take care of that. Now then, be a good boy and hand over the seed. Boss of this dungeon is Gall. You know, it's 2 dungeons I've done like that, where the boss is actually the name of the labyrinth, and Gall. Gall is a very easy boss, especially if you use the mouse formation, because then you can just run away from that ball attack. You just want to strike, I think it's a him. I don't know, actually. You want to strike it with your sword when it's not firing its balls. It's honestly a fairly easy boss fight. If you do get hit by the balls like this, though, I don't really like doing it because it seems kind of cheap in my eyes. But you can actually transform the turtle if you're quick enough and actually use the shell to avoid getting hit. And then phase 2 happens. Yeah, 2-phase boss. Who'da thunk? The spider's very easy to dodge. It just jumps around, doesn't even have a projectile attack. You just have to keep in mind the size of your sword's hitbox, and it shouldn't be that hard of a fight. Which, mind you, is most of the game. I do have to wonder why the sword's hitbox is a little deceptive. Because the Zelda Oracle games would get that, and even Link's Awakening got that perfectly right, but here it's a bit off. I can't believe you've grown this strong. Well, savor your triumph while it lasts. We have Rui in our custody. Only she knows where to find the final droplet. Yet again, why give me a rift key? Okay, either way, we got the rift key, and that is the Flora rift key, which is kind of deceptive because it doesn't lead you to Flora. Either way, with that, we are now finished with our business in Flora. We want to head back to the Great Tree. Since now that we have that new rift key, we can head on over to the next area, Sylvalant. And you need to be human in order to use the rifts for some reason. I don't get why. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sylva, the final area of Sylvalant. We're actually almost done with the game. And if we look at the map, there's the droplet, but it seems to be out of place. There's a tower to our right, but we can't go over there yet. So our best goal would be to head for that house in the bottom left. And you might remember that bit of a labyrinthine area we had earlier. The Jungle Labyrinth. Welcome to a semi-second version of that. It's technically another path of snakes. But we want to find our way around in here to first off find our next orange. And we want to make our way towards the left of this area. There are 2 passageways to the left. One more towards the southwest and one just pure towards the cardinal west. We want to head towards the cardinal west first, then the southwest. The way you really want to find your way around in this area is look for the snakes themselves. They'll often hint towards where there's a passageway you can walk through. Either way, over here to the left is our next dead tree, so get out the purifying powder. It'll still work as a life powder. Use it and get our next orange. And with that, I think there's only... it's either 3 or 2 more oranges in the game. I know where they all are, I just can't remember the exact amount. I want to say it's 2. We are getting close to the end of the game. In fact, I'll admit, the end of the game kind of sneaks up on you. Because this feels like it was a game that was only maybe about 2/3 of the way done in terms of scale. Because it feels like there could have been a bit more, especially in the story department, but I guess they were either rushed or they ran out of time. Or space, even. Which I can understand from a developmental standpoint, because that stuff happens. And we want to head south here. And here's the house, actually. Let's see who's inside. No one! Great. Now there is something to the right of us on the map, so let's check that out. Welcome to the graveyard. Where not much happens. Hey, chest. We can't get that yet. Well, we can. I just don't want to head over to it yet. I don't think you can check any of these headstones for dialogue. I've never actually tried myself. But hello there, eerie twins. The seed. Then you must be A pity. You came one step too late. Late for what? She endured such merciless torture, and yet Rui carried the secret of the droplet's location to her grave. She literally put our country before her own life. You have to talk to these girls twice, by the way. Before she gave her last breath, Rui spoke to us. She said a brave man wielding the seed would save our land. Please take this. Rui said you would find it useful. And we get the amulet! Okay then, its use isn't apparent to us. This amulet might get you into that tower. And if you remember, there was a tower to the northeast on the map, so now that we have the amulet, we can actually check out what's going on over there. However, there are a few things I want to get in this area before we head on over there. Namely, you saw that chest earlier, and there is a bit of a path we can go on to get one other little extra. Sylva, for being what is essentially the namesake of the game, Sylvan Tail and Sylvalant, isn't that big of an area, honestly. Flora is much larger. I really do have a feeling that there was a lot in this game that just they couldn't put in, which is really sad. Also, isn't Sylva Latin for something like woods or something along those lines? I don't know Latin. I don't know any foreign languages. I was actually in a Chinese class for a bit back in middle school, but I didn't last too long in that. 3 years, all things considered, which is pretty good, but that was 1 year with I think the equivalent to a B at that point. And then 2 years with a D, essentially. Wasn't too good at that. Mind you, back in my younger schooling days, I was also not very diligent. I'm still not all that good because I don't study, but I'm one of those kids that can study while still getting good grades. And here we actually have a bit of a decent block puzzle. We need to push this block down, but then we need to actually pull this block along. Because otherwise we have no way to get back in. This game isn't without its own good puzzles, but a lot of them are on the more simple side, which for the system makes sense, but they could have done a bit more, I think, if they had more ideas, possibly. Mind you, I wouldn't have minded seeing a sequel to this, but I'm actually not sure of how well this game sold in Japan. Either way, over here, we got the game's last dead tree. And thus, I think our second to last orange. Yeah, that looks about right. The weird thing is, the life bar never reaches all the way to either side. There's always going to be a bit of space left, which is kind of strange. Also, keep in mind this area for later, because you might have seen there on the thing to our right, but there was actually what looked to be a passageway we couldn't go through. So we're going to need to keep that in mind for later. And now we're actually back towards the Great Tree, because now I actually want to head towards the right, which is towards the tower. There is nothing on the lower door for us, so just fly over everything at this point. And we want to head towards the top door, but before entering it, equip the amulet. And be in human form as well. Why? Otherwise you fall down like this. That should have broken all of my ankles. All of them, as if I had more than 2. But video game physics are, let's say, a bit off from reality. Though fall damage is always something I actually really fear in games, because if I fall at good height, my heart always kind of stops for a second. Well, hello there, giant skeleton man. Ow, you hurt me. I'm going to hurt you back. Ow. Take the... Oh. The seed broke? Well, now we're weaponless. I've got to tackle you. Come here. I'll get you. Stop. How are you hurting me? You're not even moving. Your teeth are sharp. Ow. And then he died. Garcia? Rui? What the hell is going on? I never dreamed we would meet in such a place as this. Come, let us speak. The Dark Emperor Moa, Lord of the Monsters, intended to claim the 3 prisms for himself. He had already seized the prisms of wind and light. Had he got his hands on the remaining prism, it would have been the end for us. Using the seed, I shattered the water prism with my own hands, then scattered the prism across Sylvalant in the form of the 6 droplets, the very same you collected. You alone are the hero descended from Sylvalant. When the monsters attacked, you were still just a baby. So, to protect you, I had you sent to another world. To the west of the great tree lies the hiding place of the final droplet. In the center of the 3 trees, raise high the amulet. The way to the droplet will be opened. Have you followed all I've said? Yeah, Gebora. Please, recover the 2 prisms, and make this land a peaceful forest once again. If anyone can do it, I believe you can. You speak like you know us pretty well for some reason. Also, you just completely pulled a Zelda 1 on us. Hello there, young twin. How are you doing? Also, I have no health. A young man carried you here, saying something about repaying a debt. Yeah, we did kind of save his life. Anything else? I wonder... No, it's nothing. Best of luck. And she makes our health recover for some reason and somehow. But with that, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 6, we're actually gonna go end off the game. See you guys then!